Hey everybody, just wanted to do a real quick kind of overview of the Cross S0150M steering servo that comes in a lot of their trucks. I just replaced this servo in my NT4. I was not having any issues with it. I just wanted to upgrade to something a little more powerful and something that I have history with that I know is more reliable. I'm not saying this is an unreliable servo, but I like to run things that I'm more familiar with. Cross doesn't give a lot of information on this servo, but from what I can find, it is a DS Power makes this servo for Cross. It's a 15 kg servo at 6 volts. This is a 6 volt max servo. It cannot run on 7.4 or higher. Although I have heard people run it on 7.4, I'm sure you'll eventually burn it out that way. But at 6 volts it runs 15 kg and it has a speed of 0.23 seconds. So it's a very slow servo. It's not an exceptionally powerful servo, but it does have a couple good things going for it. One is a nice brass 25 spline tooth output, and it is sealed. It is waterproof, although not submersible. But let's take a look at the internals. Supposedly, this is a metal gear servo, which is a good benefit. A lot of RTR servos are plastic gear. Even if they have a metal spline on the output, the rest of the gears in the servo are metal. And I have seen RTR servos claim to be metal gear servos, but what they're really talking about is that main big gear that has the spline. And if you've never seen the inside of a servo, I'll show you why they say that that's metal gear, on why they would make that claim. But let's just get in here. I hate these tiny little Phillips head screws. There we go. Okay. All right, and here we go. We do have, yep, there's a gasket there around the edge, and we do have a metal gear servo. So as you can see, we have all of our different gears in here, and we have our hat gear here. We have our gear here. This is our main gear that actually drives the entire servo. This one must have a pin. Yeah, that one interfaces with that pin right in there. But what a lot of RTR servos, I shouldn't say a lot, what I have seen some RTR servos that claim to be metal gear is this gear will be metal, but everything else will be plastic. And that's all well and good, except for this gear down here and this gear here are your main drive gears. And I don't mean that this is your main drive gear. The motor is connected here, big gear here. But these run your gear reduction, and this is kind of what makes everything work. This is where your torque is generated between these gears here. So if these are plastic, it doesn't really matter if this one's metal. This servo is going to fail. That is a weak servo. I'm able to move this without any issue at all. So overall, I mean, this is not a review of this servo. I've ran it very little before replacing it, and like I said, I wasn't having any problems with it. I am sure that this servo would run fine in especially like a trail application. Now I've got to get that line back up. I'm sure it would run fine in like a trail application. I bet you there's a lot of you who have Cross vehicles that have run this servo for a long time without problems, and there's no reason not to. I mean, you know, there's a lot of people who they'll upgrade at some point, but they like to run everything until it fails, and that's great. I'm just not one of those people. I like to put something in it that I'm going to that is the part that I would upgrade to in the future. I like to do that right away. But the servo that comes in these vehicles, at least in the NT4, and I have a feeling that this servo comes in most of their vehicles, it's a decent servo. metal gear, 15 kg isn't terrible. I wish it could run on 7.4 volts, but other than that, yeah, it's a decent little unit. So there's a quick look at it. There's a quick look at the internals and verifying that it is, in fact, metal gear. Until next time.